Plymouth could be colder than Aberdeen this weekend. Yes, you heard that correctly. The southwest, battered by Storm Chandra just 48 hours ago, is about to face another onslaught of heavy rain whilst Scotland enjoys relatively milder conditions. Is your area in the firing line for the next weather warning? Right now, the Met Office has issued a yellow rain warning covering Somerset, Devon, Cornwall, and Dorset, with 10 to 15 millimetres expected widely and up to 25 millimetres in the most exposed areas. Drop your location in the comments right now, and I will give you a personalised forecast for tomorrow's video based on exactly where you are. Let me tell you what's coming for the major population centres over the next 72 hours. London, you are looking at persistent rain arriving this afternoon around 2 o'clock. Temperatures struggling to reach 7 degrees Celsius, clearing overnight but with showers returning Saturday. The capital S commute this evening will be wet. Manchester, rain moves in late tonight around 11 o'clock. Heavy at times through Friday morning with 40 to 50 millimetres possible in spots. Temperatures around 6 degrees with that rain turning wintry over the Pennines above 300 metres. Birmingham, the wet weather arrives around tea time today, 5 o'clock or thereabouts, continuing through Friday with temperatures hovering between 6 and 8 degrees, some surface water likely on the roads. Glasgow, you are actually in a relatively calm spell until Friday evening when rain pushes north from around 6 o'clock. Temperatures a mild 9 degrees, which is above average for late January. Cardiff, heavy rain from midnight tonight lasting through Friday morning. Potentially 40 to 60 millimetres over the Brecon, Beacons and Valleys. Temperatures around 8 degrees, with genuine flood risk given recent rainfall. Belfast, you are facing the heaviest rainfall with that yellow warning extending across all of Northern Ireland from midnight Thursday through to 6 o'clock Friday evening, with real flooding concerns for counties Down and Antrim where totals could exceed 60 millimetres. Now here's what makes this situation particularly concerning. The ground across the southwest is absolutely saturated. Rivers have breached their banks following Storm Chandra. The Environment Agency is monitoring multiple flood warnings, and we're about to add another significant rainfall event on top of that. This isn't just about the millimeters falling from the sky. It's about where that water has nowhere to go. But stick with me, because at around the 8-minute mark, I am going to show you something rather unexpected developing for early February. The models are starting to converge on a pattern we haven't seen properly this winter, and if it comes off, February could look drastically different to January. Let us break down exactly what is happening meteorologically. We've got low pressure sitting to the west of Ireland, with an active weather front sweeping northeast across the UK through today. What's unusual here is the direction of approach. Typically, our weather systems barrel in from the Atlantic on a west to east trajectory. This one S coming from the southwest, and that southerly track means it's drawing moisture up from warmer waters, loading it with precipitation, and then dumping it repeatedly on the same southwestern counties. The southeast from Brighton to Dover enjoys a relatively calm window this morning, temperatures around 5 degrees, changing this afternoon. East Anglia stays cloudy around 6 degrees with drizzle developing. Eastern Scotland from Edinburgh to Aberdeen has that cold southeasterly bringing low cloud and patchy rain between 4 and 6 degrees, with sleet across the Cairngorms. Newcastle sees similar onshore conditions, whilst Carlisle and the Lakes had a frosty start, but cloud is building. Now, let me just clarify something about the timing, because this is where the Met Office model and the European model are showing slight differences. The main band of rain is forecast to reach the southwest between lunchtime and mid-afternoon. The Met Office model has it arriving around 1 o'clock in the afternoon across Cornwall and Devon. The ECMWF is suggesting it could arrive an hour or two later. That might not sound significant, but it matters for the evening commute across Bristol, Exeter, and Plymouth. We'll have a clearer picture by tomorrow morning as model runs, so do check back then. The Midlands from Leicester to Derby sees rain arriving between 6 and 8 o'clock this evening, showery and persistent overnight at 7 degrees. Leeds and Sheffield face rain late tonight with potential wintriness over the Pennines above 250 metres through Friday morning, marginal but worth noting for higher routes. Liverpool sees heavy rain from 10 o'clock tonight through early Friday, easing to showers by mid-morning, temperatures around 7 degrees. Across Wales, the situation intensifies overnight. Swansea and Carmarthen are looking at heavy rain from around 11 o'clock tonight, pushing northeast through the early hours. Bangor and the North Wales coast, URE slightly later, around 2 o'clock Friday morning, but the rain will be persistent. The Brecon Beacons and the Cambrian Mountains are the real concern here, potentially seeing 30 to 40 millimetres, and with steep valleys below, that water runs off quickly into communities downstream. Wrexham and the northeast sees the rain around 3 o'clock Friday morning. Northern Ireland, as I mentioned, faces the most prolonged rainfall event of this system. Derry, You're looking at rain beginning around midnight, continuing through the entirety of Friday with the heaviest bursts between 6 and 10 o'clock Friday morning. The Mourne Mountains and the higher ground of County Down could see 50 to 60 millimetres, possibly more in the most exposed spots. This is where the European model is actually showing higher totals than the Met Office model, which concerns me because it suggests there's still uncertainty about exactly how much falls. Armagh, Newry and Downpatrick are all areas to watch closely for surface water and river flooding. Wait until you see what S developing for next week, though. I'll come to that shortly. Friday sees the rain clear the southwest through the morning, replaced by blustery showers, temperatures recovering to 9 or 10 degrees from Plymouth to Penzance. Truro and Newquay see improvement by lunchtime. As the front pushes north into Scotland's colder air, the snow line drops. The southern uplands around Dumfries and Moffat could see 5 to 10 centimetres above 200 metres. The Highlands see snow on peaks throughout Friday, freezing level around 300 metres. Perth and Stirling remain mostly rain at 5 to 7 degrees, whilst Fort William and Inverness see rain and sleet mixing. Orkney and Shetland stay relatively calm with occasional showers around 4 degrees. The Channel Islands, Jersey and Guernsey, you rewrite in the firing line for that first band of rain this afternoon, heavy at times with 20 to 30 millimetres possible, clearing to showers Friday. Temperatures around 9 degrees. The Isle of Wight and the Solent area from Portsmouth to Southampton see rain this afternoon through tonight, temperatures around 7 degrees, then improving slowly Friday, though remaining blustery with a strong southwesterly wind. Saturday continues unsettled with low pressure, sat over the UK, bringing showers or longer spells of rain. Temperatures generally 6 to 9 degrees across most areas, feeling raw in the wind. Oxford, Cambridge, Reading and the Thames Valley see sunny spells and scattered showers around 7 to 8 degrees. Southampton and Portsmouth see similar conditions, perhaps slightly milder at 8 degrees. Yorkshire from York to Harrogate sees heavy showers with perhaps some hail over higher ground at 6 degrees, the Dales particularly exposed. Scottish showers become more scattered with some brightness. Glasgow and Edinburgh at 7 degrees, Aberdeen at 5. Now, here S where things get interesting, and this is what I promised you earlier. Sunday, the 1st of February, actually starts as a relatively calm day. We RE in between weather systems briefly. But according to the latest model runs, and this has developed quite significantly over the past 48 hours, we're relooking at a substantial pattern change as we head into the first full week of February. All three major operational models, the Met Office, the GFS, and the ECMWF, are now showing a blocking high developing to our north around the 7th or 8th of February. Now, we've had false starts with this pattern before. Just last week, the models were suggesting cold for this week, and it didn't materialize. So we maintain appropriate uncertainty here. But there is something different about this signal. The models are converging rather than diverging, which usually indicates growing forecast confidence. The ECMWF in particular is showing something rather remarkable for around the 9th or 10th of February, a polar low, which is essentially a small but intense area of low pressure that forms in very cold air masses, potentially tracking south from the Arctic directly towards the UK. If that scenario plays out, we are talking about a rapid temperature drop, potentially heavy snow, and very windy conditions. It is still speculative at this range, but worth monitoring closely. The GFS ensemble suite has shifted markedly colder over the past 24 hours. Yesterday, only a handful of ensemble members showed a cold outcome. Today, a substantial majority indicate temperatures well below average from around the 8th of February onwards. We are not just talking about a degree or two below average. Some ensemble members show temperatures 5 to 8 degrees below the seasonal norm, which for early February would put many areas into low single figures by day and well below freezing at night. The dew point forecasts are showing a dramatic drop-off, suggesting very dry continental air arriving from the northeast or north. That's the signature of a proper cold snap originating from Scandinavia, or even further east towards Siberia. The landmass across northern Europe has been absolutely frigid, primed to keep any air masses drawn from there extremely cold indeed. What makes this potentially significant isn't just the cold, it's the setup. If we get that blocking high to our north and low pressure to our south, we establish a northeasterly or northerly flow. That draws air down from the Arctic. But crucially, as that cold air moves over the North Sea, it picks up moisture. And when it hits the UK, particularly eastern areas, that moisture has to go somewhere. That is your classic scenario for significant snowfall across eastern counties. The Met Office model is slightly less aggressive than the ECMWF, but still shows a marked cooling trend from around the 7th onwards. The difference is the Met Office has the block weakening after a few days, allowing milder Atlantic air to eventually push back in, whereas the ECMWF keeps it locked in place for longer. Which model is correct? We simply don't know at this stage. This is day 8, 9, 10 territory. Whilst confidence is building compared to earlier in the week, the forecast could shift substantially over the next few days. The probability of colder conditions developing through the first week of February is higher now than 48 hours ago. But we are not there yet in terms of certainty about exactly when it arrives, how cold it gets, or how long it lasts. For those who remember the beast from the east in 2018, there are some similarities in the pattern, though I'm not suggesting we re-looking at an event of that magnitude. That was exceptional. But the northeasterly flow from a cold continent, that's the parallel. What does this mean practically? For the next week to 10 days, we remain unsettled and relatively mild. Temperatures bobbling around mid to high single digits, frequent rain, particularly in the west and south, generally rather grey conditions. But as we move into the second week of February, there is increasing potential for something much colder. If you are planning outdoor activities, travel, or weather-dependent work, monitor this closely over the coming days. Eastern areas from Kent through Essex, Suffolk, Norfolk, up to Lincolnshire, Yorkshire, and Northumberland would be particularly vulnerable to snow showers in a northeasterly flow. Southampton, Brighton, and Portsmouth could see proper snow, not just flurries. London-S infrastructure doesn't handle snow well, so disruption is likely if this materialises. The Midlands could see the coldest spell of winter so far, with Nottingham, Leicester, and Coventry in the firing line. Northern England from Manchester to Sheffield faces frequent snow showers from the east, with accumulations possible over higher ground. Scotland might be slightly less affected, sitting in slack pressure between the high and low. Still cold, but perhaps not seeing the same intensity of snow showers as eastern England. Wales would be partially sheltered by topography, but still cold, with any precipitation likely falling as snow. Northern Ireland similarly sheltered, but cold nonetheless. But here is the thing we need to remember. This is still speculative at this range. We are discussing possibilities, not certainties. The models could easily shift back towards something milder over the next few runs. We could see the block fail to develop properly. The polar low might track further east and miss us entirely. What we are saying is the ingredients are there for a potentially significant cold spell, the models are showing increasing agreement, and the probability has risen. But we maintain our forecast humility. We'll know much more by this weekend. If the Friday and Saturday model runs continue to show this pattern, confidence will increase further. If they start to wobble, we'll reassess. Do check back tomorrow, because we'll have the latest model guidance, and I'll be giving personalized forecasts to those of you who've left your locations in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll do my best to address as many as possible. Before I go, let me just recap briefly where we are. Today and tonight, heavy rain for the southwest and Wales, spreading northeast across Northern Ireland, the Midlands, and eventually Scotland. Yellow warnings in force. Flooding concerns given the saturated ground. Friday, that rain clears south and east, replaced by showers, with snow mixing in over Scottish hills. The weekend remains unsettled, showers or longer spells of rain, temperatures generally 6 to 9 degrees. Then, as we look towards next week, Monday and Tuesday continue unsettled, but towards the middle and latter part of next week, there's growing potential for a significant pattern change towards much colder conditions, possibly the coldest spell of winter, with snow a genuine possibility, particularly for eastern areas. Tomorrow's video will have the latest overnight model runs, updated warnings, and I'll be addressing your specific locations. I genuinely want to help you plan your week, so if you haven't already, drop your city or county in the comments now. Thank you for watching. Stay safe in this wet weather over the next 48 hours, and I'll see you tomorrow morning with the latest.